we're having some technical difficulties. Started the stream. All right. So, as you can see, have black. We have black. So that was a sinkhole out of the on black deck. By Life from the Loam from the land stack. You hate to see. So, seems like progress that Karl is making sort of being stymied a little bit by this Life from the Loam.
Yeah, and here we see a pretty new card to Modern, right? From the one of the EDH precons, the one that just got destroyed, right? Currency. I can't remember what it's called. Can you recall that one?
Me neither, but so it's an interesting EDH card. What does it do?
Let me search it up. It's pretty new to me. I actually saw it in a game the other day. It's called Currency Converter. It's a artifact for one. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. You can pay 2 and tap it to draw a card and then discard a card. Or you can just tap it to put a exiled card with Currency Converter into your graveyard. If that card was a land, you can create a treasure token, or if it was a non-land, you get a black rogue creature token.
So effectively, when you discard cards to the Lily, they get exiled and turn into value.
Yeah. I believe it became like a pretty staple deck after that. I don't know how much it's played, but it looks like a good deck. I believe it's like a combo deck. I think so, at least. Let me check. Not actually that well versed in Legacy per se. I like the format a lot. I hope we can get to see some cool decks.
Yeah. So one of the interesting dynamics here is that while Andreas easily able to recoup all of these lands, problem is that he's slowly having his life total way at. Yeah, but with the Punishing Fire over the Burn Willows, able to start controlling.
Yeah, totally. I do believe that he has a chance. Like, as long as he gets out like a some sort of creature that he can equip Shadow Spear to, I believe he can like back somehow. But yeah, that what actually what number does Liliana ult at? Is that like 6 or is it more?
Yeah, Liliana has her ultimate at -6, yeah. Where she divides the permanents player's control.
That's a bit scary, I guess,
but yeah, lands can kind of work through that.
Yeah, probably
with the Life from the Loam. So it's not a super scary prospect right now. Although it would sort of slow down the Grove of the Burn Willows plan. Where right now Andreas has access to 2 Grove of the Burn Willows if he wants it, which is potentially pretty powerful. And especially in the face of this Liliana.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Use Beseiju to castle. Yeah, that's probably pretty good call right there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Got me off from the card draw.
Yeah, you want to use it now because if you want to prevent the Castle Lockthwain activation. But
Yeah,
you are
exactly.
accepting the fact that cannot use it to kill Mishra's factory any
That's
longer.
true.
So if Karl was, for example, to draw another Mishra's factory, all of a sudden your punishing fire doesn't kill it, and he can protect it
Yeah.
with factory.
It's punishing fire creature and only sorcery speed.
Any target instant.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's real powerful.
But yeah, that's fine then. He can. Oh right, because it's outside of the punishment range. Well, he has to use it on Lily now.
Yeah. So here's can get back his punishing fire. Can use it on the factory.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then he can untap, use it on the Lily if he
Yeah.
wants to prevent the ultimate. Can start, of course.
With the Dredger.
And there is an Urza's Saga dredged off of the life from.
Yeah, of course, takes up Saga. Better lands. Seiju and a cycle land.
And this is about where you want to be with the land stack. Have all of the lands. Still lacking access to Wasteland, but he's playing against a mono black deck, so
Yeah,
that
exactly.
isn't very relevant currently.
No, it's just like a matter of time. That low attrition.
Yeah, so now it's up to Karl to find something that can pressure Andre's life total through this punishing fire. It is. It is interesting that Liliana has really been putting a lot of pressure on Andre's hand. Like he's had to choose between playing very specific lands, even though he always has three cards off the phone.
Top card in Karl's graveyard, that's Dark Ritual.
Yeah, I believe he drew
Nice.
Dark Ritual, which
Oh,
sadly is not
That's
where you want to
stinker.
be.
very unfortunate for Karl.
So yeah, it feels like Andre is sort of increasing the stranglehold on this game, where Karl really needs something big, turn, in order to really just kill Andre, where you can put a creature on the board.
That's Fable?
Equip Shadow Speeder. Yeah, Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Very good card out of Kamigawa.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it in the land stack. I suppose you're very interested in the or in the second chapter, which lets you discard cards out of your hand to loan and getting a creature without having to play actual creatures in your deck. Also very nice for a deck that kind of thing. Sort of playing very creature less. And making copies of Ursa Saga tokens. Yeah, it fills a lot of niche roles. Interesting choice to see out of the land stack. And here we see the main phase activation Saga.
With that scare board, it only takes like one turn to like make it kind of board and legacy. Completely insane. And I don't believe that Karl can come back from this. I don't know if he plays any like I don't know what the mono black deck plays in legacy. Like probably nothing like that.
No way to really wipe the board.
Yeah, exactly.
The way that you could do that in mono black is play something like Smallpox or Pox.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure if that's the strategy here. There's definitely a lot of discards, so that might be part of the plan. But that doesn't really deal with the problems on entirety. The real problem is this Shadow Spear, of course. Like, as soon as Andre starts gaining too much life, the options from Karl's side become very limited.
Yep, and here we go. First swing.
Be jamming in for 5.
Nope, attack the Lily, apparently.
Yeah. At the Lily.
Sure.
Heading to 7.
You seeing Karl's hand? I know what he has.
Yeah, it's interesting. He decided he has one card.
He decided to not plus.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my understanding.
Come on, Andreas, keep your graveyard on the inside view of the camera. Okay, another saga. Yeah, this seems pretty grim for Karl actually.
So a re-equip of the Shadow Spear in case of some haste.
He had floated a mana because it has equip too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe from the ancient too. Yes, please.
Thinking.
It's just showing us that his graveyard. Now we can't see it.
And yeah, Karl is trying to figure out. There's some line here, something to do.
Yeah. I think he's calculating how much time he has left until it's like lethal.
Yeah, it could also be that he's pondering how to sort of.
What to deal with, I guess. Oh no, he just goes again too, that's fair. And I have Dark Ritual in hand as well.
Yeah,
That's
so,
really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Not stuff you want to see in the late game. He does have a ley line in hand, but I don't know if that hurts Andreas that much actually. He has access to Boseiju, of course, and maybe he can just play through it. To be honest, maybe not with that hand, I guess. But both keeps 7 versus Arya straight from the get go. And Epiphany naming. I'm sure. He named something. What could he have named? Probably like Shadow Spear, maybe? Versus Saga?
Probably don't name Versus Saga of your own Versus Saga. Didn't name Wasteland at least. You know that. There are some.
Wait, what? But Versus Saga died, so he did name Versus Saga.
No? Or it doesn't die just because you name it off.
Oh, right, no, of course doesn't. But why did the Saga? Oh, because it Wasteland.
Wasteland. Right. Yeah.
I didn't see the Wasteland, sorry. It was kind of off screen. Exploration on land, yeah. This is the stuff I like about land deck. Exploration, playing all the lands. Nice. Okay. Minsc and Boo. That's very interesting. Actually, a friend of mine talked about that card being played in Legacy the other day, and I was really surprised actually. But the card draw is real nice, and of course you get a Krish from it for free. It is a bit of a beatdown actually.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a clock.
Yeah, it's especially good that you end up with a card. You end up with 2 separate creature or separate threats, like the planeswalker and the creature.
Yeah. And it can also deal kind of double damage if it's like kind of a clutch top deck situation. If the opponent is at 8, that's lethal, right? Because Boo has haste and Minsc can fling him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very quick card. You get hit for 4, and then another +1, you get hit for 7.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you've taken 11 damage. So oftentimes the -2 is already lethal at that point.
Yeah.
And that's not to mention the fact that sack a 4/4.
Oh, here comes Shadow Spear.
So this might be over before it's begun almost, unless Karl has some way to that. Boo.
That's a bit odd. Playing the Mace Wave as a creature. That's really odd. Why does it do that?
Something.
Oh,
Ooh, sudden edict. Yeah. That's a great way to deal with the boo. Now the pressure is going to be on Karl to find a way to deal with Minsc.
yeah. Oh, castle. Okay, that's a bit too slow right now. He has a Liliana in hand, and I believe it's Maltese. Maybe it's not a boo, of course, due to the static
Yeah.
Minsc.
So
Tosses.
now perhaps Karl has another removal spell for boo.
Whipping Shadow Spear.
That appears to be the case. Second edict. So
Well,
he
he,
can sort of keep head over water here.
yeah, totally. Like he's not dying, but the Minsc is rising.
Very much. Seems to be a Liliana him to Torak, which takes cards out of Andre's hand.
Well, they aren't good cards to begin with, right? It's not. It's cards that he can lose right now, since because of the ley line, and the diamond doesn't really do anything major.
So now, who is finally swinging in for a lot?
No edict. Cool. I do believe. Do you think he'll? No, he doesn't. Quite interesting that it doesn't Ghost Quarter the land.
Well, the Castle Lockpoint can't actually activate until you have 4 lands.
Yeah, of
so
course.
Even if Karl makes a land drop, it won't be able to.
Yeah, totally. But it thins out his deck for lands, so he'll only draw cards that he can't play because he has 2 little lands.
Yeah, but Karl could also draw more relevant lands, like Mishra's Factory, for example.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, here comes the currency converter.
Yeah, so that's our really needs answers to
Aussies.
targeting himself.
Takes the curse scroll, taking it under. That's curse roll, right?
Yeah, putting it on the converter. So maybe that's the idea, is that if you can like get curse roll going, at least you're doing something.
Yeah, he does get 2/2 black robe creatures, but that doesn't really do anything against the boo with trample and a lot of counters on it, right? But this is not lethal, right? He hits for 5 and can fling for 5.
Well, currently it hits for 5. +1 has not been activated yet? Or has it already?
No, he has not plus yet. I believe he wants to fling, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, he puts it in grave and blocks. I believe so. Because he removed it from card.
The main upside, of course, to flinging boo is that when you do, you get to draw its power, so he's going to get to draw 4 cards.
Right, yeah. I was a bit confused first, like, wait, is he like...
Andreas here is showing him the Minsc and boo, explaining, yeah, it is doing exactly... This is crazy. This is the crazy text on my card. Of course, another part of this is that exploration has been in play for a long time, allowing additional land drops.
It's so much value for Andreas right now. Like from turn 1, he has been like upping Karl's game, the whole game, due to that exploration, being able to put more pressure on Karl the whole time. Karl only being able to cast sudden verdicts, and yeah, been a rough game for Karl. Okay, there he wastelanded the card and or the Lockwane, and now the Field of Dead is on the not active actually. The card, different lands. Bit rough playing with field with a Leyline on the field because you can't really play lands from the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he has Passeju, so that's up to 6, and then soon he's 7. Um, yeah, and he scoops it up. It's a victory for Andreas. Very just breezing through the both matches. Very
Yeah.
unfortunate for Karl.
Yeah, and really a decisive victory for Minsc and Boo. Um,
Yeah, totally. I believe that caught it. Karl totally off guard. If he had seen it in game one, he probably would have named Minsc and Boo. I don't know how many like copies you play in lands, but if you're playing like 3, 4 copies, if it's like one of the main win cons, probably he should have named Minsc and Boo off of the fifth needle.
yeah, I mean, if you knew, right? But that's the problem with Minsc and Boo is like your opponent sideboards probably one, maybe two, and how do you? It's not an open decklist event, of course,
No,
so
yeah, totally.
it takes you completely by surprise.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's yeah, it's really speaks to the power of this new 4 mana planeswalker, and especially the idea that it's making 2 separate permanents really hard to answer on